trees. Let's get it. Mark and Will, yeah. Mark and Will, yeah.
It's the Mark and Will Show. It's the Mark and Will Show. Monday through Friday, player. Watch it while you on the go. It's the Mark and Will Show. It's the Mark and Will Show. Catch them at 8 p.m. They gon' tell you what they know. It's the Mark and Will Show. It's the Mark and Will Show. Monday through Friday, player. Watch it while you on the go. It's the Mark and Will Show. It's the Mark and Will Show. Catch them at 8 p.m. They gon' tell you what they know.
What's going on, people? How's everybody doing this Wednesday hump day? We back in the saddle. I'm your boy Will. We're going to bring it. Always. We're going to bring it. Today's show, later on in the show, we have an exclusive interview with DeSales Head Coach. So make sure you tune in for that. That's going to be a good one. He's going to let us know what's going on with DeSales. He's going to let us know about the program. We welcome all coaches. Hey, holler at us. Let's talk about the program. Let's talk about what's going on at your school and the players and everything else. We want to get it all wrapped in one so everybody can know, hey, this is what we're about. Our program is about. So, hey, I hope everybody's today has been great. You know, I know it's been thunderstorming and things like that. Solo Dolo, Mark is out today, and you know what I'm saying, hopefully he'll be back next week or something like that. But hey, the show must go on. And I'm going to tell you what, got kind of a little sluggish today, you know what I'm saying, with the rain and everything else, was at work. But I'll tell you, nothing like when you know that you coming to do a show with bangers. And even when you think about it, I hope you guys caught the show last night. Jacayla Thompson, baller, certified bucket getter. She was on her DuPont manual, you know. So, you know, we're going to do it how we do. So, if you don't know, Mark and Will Show is going to be on envision-radio.com tomorrow at 3 p.m. Got to give that a listen, you know what I'm saying? Without a doubt. But as I was doing the show, it was some interesting things that was popping up throughout the day. But, you know, we want to go ahead and get into some stuff. But yesterday you had some baseball games, some very important baseball game district play. And y'all know what today, Wednesday, normally is legacy, but it's not legacy today. But you know I got to go ahead and give a shout out to male Bulldogs district champs, beat St. X 3-2. Holy Cross beat Ferdale 11-2 at PRP. So that you know, I mean, PRP didn't have a good year this year, I guess. DeSales 8, Butler 3. Highlands beat Atherton 9-2. Trinity crushed Wagner 15-0. Oldham County 8, South Oldham 7. That's off to those district champions, and everybody that played yesterday pretty much is going to the tournament, and you got some games today. Also, saw another little interesting thing that popped up on my feed. Bring it so for you guys to see a little bit. Like, yeah. High schooler runs sub 4th minute mile, breaking record that had stood since 1965. Gary Martin, a senior from Archbishop Wood High School in Pennsylvania, broke the record, right? Broke it. Martin ran it in 3 minutes and 57 seconds. Killed it. Smashed it. That's off to you. Man, I can only dream about running. I mean, when I was in shape and when I was playing, I mean, goodness, They can't no close to that. What's up, Coach? How you doing? How's everything going with you, Coach? So, hey, that right there, dude is smoking. Dude was rolling. Hey, hats off to him who broke that record. Hey, that's moving. I don't know too many, you know what I'm saying, people doing a mile. High schoolers under 4, but I mean, it's sure, hey, to each his own. I know I couldn't come close to that. Never. Hey, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Um, Coach is coming on. Coach Jackson will be joining us a little later on in the show. He's going to give us a report on the sales coach. So make sure you give us a follow. That's what we do. We bring you guys coaches, players, 502 in the building, state of Kentucky, everybody like that. And speaking of running, y'all know Legacy is normally today. So I still got to do a little bit of bragging, a little bit, right? I guess. So the next clip right here is from a track meet that I think, is just wrapped up today. And it's something to do with them, Bulldogs, Saint X, everybody. So check this clip out.
And they're off with a fair start. The boys score by 2. In the interim, the following girls and boys 1,600 meter runners to please check in. Giovanni Benso in the turf. All boys and girls 1,600 meter runners, please check in.
And I pulled all kinds of hamstrings. Everything.
It looked like Central in the lead at the first handoff. Central out in lane 7. St. X now with a small lead over Emmanuel. St. X in lane 6 in the green jersey.
My nephew.
Looks like some good exchanges all the way around there for the third runners. Mayo moving up on the inside. Looks like St. X, Mayo.
Okay. Keep it form.
Got the call between Central and Manuel at this point. That's St. X at 6. Mayo coming on the inside, lane 4. St. X and Mayo. Looks like Mayo's going to tie to the victory. Indeed, that is Mayo at the wire.
Whew. Moving. I can only dream of that. I mean, I can't dream of that. I'd have tore everything in my body. All right, so that right there. Hey, you got some highlights and stuff like that. Hey, man, just send it to us. We'll put it on there. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind commentating, doing everything else. Hey, we got another show, FNC, that we do. It won't be this Friday, but it'll be next Friday. We rock and roll with that. Shan, D, Sierra, Bump, Mark, and myself. It's fun. It's adult topics. We get into it. We go hard. Sometimes sports do come about, but it's not a sports show. So it's totally different than what I'm doing now. But let me give you a little clip of that. And basically signed a bigger contract and got bigger deals, and he's going harder. I don't get it. So now we're on the precipice of running on the stage, which we went to a concert. Shannon, Dion, and myself went to the concert in Louisville, and you had to be, you had to give your phone up. You had to go through the detectors. You had to do all this kind of shit, right? How old boy get in there with a knife, even though he had a fake Glock?
Right.
How he get like what's going on?
How he accomplished that?
And people was taking video. So like, what's going on?
Right.
I guess it wasn't.
Yeah, like,
so I think it wasn't his own thing.
Yeah,
I think it was a whole other gala, but it was no kind of stuff. And dude got in there and did his stuff and got his ass whooped for getting on stage. My thing is this.
oh Lord.
My thing is this. If you're an actor, little snip of that. So all right, let's go and hit baseball. Let's go on what's going on. So let's see here. We want to go ahead and get these baseball scores in for you. And y'all know how things go. This is raw and uncut. So everything kind of freeze up a little bit. I don't know why, but that's how it goes. Let's see. We get to the baseball. All right. So yesterday we had the Braves win 3-0 over the Brewers. That was May the 17th. White Sox beat the Royals 3-0 in the doubleheader, the first game. Dodgers beat the D-backs 7-6, game one. Game one of it was a lot of doubleheaders, a ton of doubleheaders. The Mets won 3-1. The Reds is on the radio 5-4 over the Guardians. Hey, hats off to them. I mean, I know if you're a Reds fan and woo-wee, but hey, hats off. Woo-wee, big time. So, the Rays beat the Tigers 8-1. Marlins beat the Nationals 5-1. Padres 3-0 over the Phillies. Thank you. Cardinals 4, the Mets 3. Thank you. Yankees 5, Orioles 4. Blue Jays 3, Mariners 0. White Sox lost to the Royals in Game 2 of the doubleheader 2-1. Astros blew out Red Sox 13-4. Cubs 7, Pirates 0. Rangers 10, Angels 5. Giants 10, Rockies 7. A's 5, Twins 2. Dodgers in Game 2 blasted Diamondbacks 12-3. So today, so far you got going on today, you got the Red Sox with a 5-1 over the Astros. You got the Nationals 3-2 lead over the Marlins in bottom of the fourth. At the bottom of the fourth, you have the Phillies with a 3-0 lead over the Padres. You got the Yankees who are rolling 3-0 over the Orioles. Mariners 1, Blue Jays 0. Cardinals 2, Mets 2, Pirates 0, Cubs 1. Scoreless games with the Angels and Rangers, Royals, and White Sox. The Brewers beat the Braves in the 11th. Oh, my God. Come on, Braves. 7-6. Rays 6. Tigers 1. Rockies 5. Giants 3. Twins 14. A's 4. You might as well didn't show up to work. Dodgers 5. D-backs 3. The Dodgers, boy. Postponed is the Reds and Guardians. And that kind of hurt because they was on a roll. You definitely want to get that going, without a doubt. I mean, why not? You know, that kind of stuff. So, all right. Let's see. The standings real quick. Let me fly through these real quick. First place, Yankees 27-9. In the Central, you got the first place Twins 22-16. And the West, you got the Astros with a 24-13. They in the first place. Nationally, you got the Mets 24-14, taking care of business. Central, you got the Brewers 24-14. West, you have the Dodgers 25-12. So, hey, that's it right there. Any news with that? I don't know if we hit this yesterday, but definitely want to go ahead and say that about Matt Harvey suspended 60 games for distributing oxycodone. Basically, he gave a player some oxy, and the player actually overdosed. I don't know if he overdosed directly from that, but so he got suspended 60 days. He admitted to it on trial that he supplied him with some oxy. Let me see. NBA time. Last night, man, did y'all watch it? Oh, my gosh. And I know my brother, if he's watching, I know he's laughing at this because the one guy who I decided to say, well, to me, he ain't been a superstar. He's been an all-star. He's been a very good all-star. But this playoffs, he is putting his name as a superstar. Jimmy Buckets, Lord, Jimmy Buckets is harming him. Man, he's playing defense. He always plays defense, but he's offense, all kind of stuff. But he's putting in 41 and stuff. Dude ain't used to this. Is like the sixth time or something like that. In this playoffs, he done had over 30. Come on, Jimmy. It's me, man. It's me. It's Will. Stop playing. You say this is not man. Hey, this ain't you. But I guess it is you. Right? Ooh, wee. Jimmy Buckets is hurting. Boston was doing their thing. They was rocking and rolling. Led the first quarter by 3 points. Tatum and Brown. At halftime, they was up. You know what I'm saying? They doing their thing. They was up by 8 points. Everybody's like, they got it, you know. And then all of a sudden, the third quarter happened, right? The Celtics got outscored 39-14 in the third quarter. Right? 25 points? So you was 8 points to lead. Then started the fourth quarter down by 17. Come on, man. Come on. Stop playing. It's ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. Whatever. Hey, like I said, shortly, Coach Jackson will be on the show. He's going to be letting us know what the deal is. So definitely check it out. We're going to find out about the DeSales Coach Day program big time. But back to Jimmy Buckets and them, man. They wasn't playing. They was doing everything. You can tell that the Celtics looks tired, all that kind of stuff. They was out Marcus Smart, and they was out Horford. Would have made a difference. They'd have been a little closer, but man, they just came out and just beat them up, stifled them in that third quarter, took the lead, did everything to them. And I'm going to tell you, that right there is not a good play because I did not think it was going to go down like that. Granted, it's the first game. They're out 2 of their starters. So, stuff happens, right? But when you get into the numbers, Grant Williams, who was a baller, actually had 2 good games against the Bucks. Let's be real. Just 2 good games. And didn't have it on this one, right? So he only had 7 points. Tatum had 29, but I think he had like 21 or something like that at halftime. He had 29. Robert Williams balled for them. He had 18 points and 9 boards. Go back to Tatum. He had 8 boards and 6 assists, 7 turnovers. Ew, stinky. No, sir, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's a rob. You can't do that, right? Derek White, I don't even know why they even started him. I guess that's the only dude they had. He only had 3 points. Brown had 24 points, 10 boards, 3 assists. And Pritchard came off the bench. He had 18. He balled. And Theus had 8. For the winners, P.J. Tucker had 5 points. Man got hurt, came back, was really integral part of that team defense in that third quarter. He took it among himself to, hey, I got you, Brown and Tatum, and he kind of disrupted a little of the stuff besides Butler. Butler had 41 points, 9 boards, 5 assists, 4 steals, 3 blocks, 2 turnovers. 17 for 18. Dude went to the free throw line 18 times. 18 times. 17 for 18. Did his thing. 12 for 19, right? Didn't hit no 3-pointers. He was 0 for 2. So he had 41 points and he ball in 41 minutes. Come on now. Bam had 10. Vincent had 17 and Struss had 11. Martin had 5 off the bench. Tyler Hero had 18 and 8 boards and 3 assists. Hey, man, did it. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Interview will be here shortly with about 10 minutes. So, hey, power play by the Heat. Took care of home. Knocked them out. Hey, they got to get ready for game 2. Celtics got to have this game 2 tomorrow. It's at 8:30. Make sure you check that out. Big time. Let me see. So now you have a game that pretty much everybody's going to want to watch tonight at 9 o'clock, right? You got Golden State Warriors and the Mavericks. Luka, Mr. All-World, leading them in every category. Are you surprised? Luka's he's a beast. He's averaging 31 points, right? Well, round it up if you want to. Math, we know how we do it, 32. Uh, he is phenomenal. It's going to be Andrew Wiggins going to have to try to slow him down. You're not going to stop him. Slow him down. Put a little bit Draymond with it. Put a little bit Clay. You're going to have to use about 3-4 players to go ahead and just try to slow him down. But you got to really slow down the rest too, because Brunson and Dinwiddie, they did their thing. They didn't start off doing their thing, but they did their thing. So that right there was impressive. But the Warriors come out and play. Bang, Curry. Come on, man. Clay's getting his rhythm back. Draymond, Poole, Wiggins. This series is going to be a good one. It's going to be real, real good one, right? Can't wait for that one. I got the Warriors because I had the Warriors going to the finals anyway. So I got the Warriors in 6. In 6. 6. Not 4, 6. So this should be a good one. Can't wait for it to happen. Starts tonight. So definitely check that out. TNT, 9 o'clock. You got to see what's going down. Let me see here. All right. Next up, we had the lottery yesterday. So we talking about for all the people who lost. All the people who was had no chance in the playoffs, right? That's what we talking about. That's what happened. So on that one, let's see. We got the standing. Orlando Magic gets the pick first. Now they got all these other 7-footers. I mean, they check Jabari Smith, who's basically like a guard. I mean, you know what I'm saying, 6'10" guard, small forward. Chet Holmgren, who's 7'2" or whatever. I mean, he's really a small forward. Who would they take? The number 2 pick, you got the Thunder. Number 3, Rockets. For Kings. Kings is all. I mean, the Kings. 5th, you got the Pistons. 6 Pacers. 7 Trailblazers. Dame needs some help. 8, you got the Pelicans. 9, you got the Spurs. 10, you got Wizards. The Knicks at number 11. Goodness gracious. 12 Thunder again. 13 Hornets. 14 Cavaliers. Should be great. We'll see. These it's the same teams over and over. I mean, wow. Same teams losing, stinking up the place. I mean, nobody wants to see all that. I mean, goodness gracious. So we'll see. So there it is. NBA draft is actually next month. So we'll see. We'll see who go. We'll see what local kids go. I see Mr. Washington is. Some people had him going to Hornets, but Hornets got all kinds of go. I mean, if that's the case, then Rozier, they're going to trade Rozier, you know what I'm saying? Which I don't, that'd be good. I mean, Terry's good. He can do whatever. He can land on his feet and do whatever because he's a baller. So that'd be cool. All right. Bing! Yesterday, you heard me report about this. He was doing a workout. Taurico was doing a workout on Instagram or some kind of live stream. He was working out, showing the teams that he's ready. He can rock and roll. Well, they said a lower leg. Well, they were not lying. It was a lower leg. It was a torn Achilles. So now, guy's going to be out for some months. Basically, he's not going to get picked up. Lost that money. Hate to see that. Little Tyreek, he, jack of all trades, can do a lot of things, and that's a killer right there. That's a killer. Wish you good, Godspeed, man. Get you rocking and rolling. Woo! Eagles signed former Giants DB Bradbury. Eagles is stacking up and trying their best. I guess they trying to get another ship. Trying to. I don't know if that's going to happen, though. You got Derek Slay. He ain't done nothing. Bradbury was garbage at The Giants. I do like the Davis pick, but heck, you got all them other big dudes in there, so we'll see. I mean, will it last? We'll see. Hit that like button, subscribe. Interview be coming up shortly. So we'll see. We'll see on that one. I mean, you can stock up all you want. You still got Jalen Hurts as the quarterback. Stinky. That's all I got to say. He's good luck with that. Spend your money. Do whatever you got to do. Sour novel. WNBA. All right. So let's see. We had several games last night, May the 17th. You had the Sun play the Liberty. Liberty, we definitely want to check that out, see what's going on with them. AD, Ajadur, she had 7 points. Congratulations. She got on the board, did her thing. Slowly coming back at 11 minutes. So had COVID bad, was out, and it really took effect of her. So glad to see her back and doing her thing. 7 points off the bench in 11 minutes. They did get smacked, 92-65. But hey, welcome back. The Dream and the Fever. They just played this past weekend, and the Dream said, we beat you the first time. Now we're really gonna beat you like you stole something. 101-79. Ooh-wee. That right there. Let's see what the number one pick, Miss Ryan Howard, did. 19 points. Did her thing. 5 boards. Okay. Did the thing. Emily Inksler from Louisville. She had 7 points and 10 boards. Okay. Blowout. Dream is 4-1, and Fever is 2-4. Let's see. Mystics beat the Wings, 84-68. The Aces beat the Mercury, 86-74. The Lynx beat the Sparks, 87-84 at the Sparks. So right there, that's a good one right there. Let me see. When the Sky hasn't played in a while. The standings real quick. You have the Mystics at 4-1. The Aces 4-1. Dream 4-1. Connecticut Sun is 2-1. Chicago Sky is 2-1. Dallas Wings 2-2. Phoenix Mercury 2-2. Sparks 2-3. Indiana Fever 2-4. Seattle Storms 1-3. Liberty 1-4. Lynx is 1-4. I don't know if you saw it was last night or whenever. Who was that? It was Phoenix. Phoenix Mercury and Karasi and Skylar Diggins got into it. They on the same team. That ain't good. Not at all. That's not good. Without a doubt. So, we'll see. Definitely watch that. Very entertaining. You know what I'm saying? A lot of great athletes that's playing. And if you follow the women basketball, you probably definitely see them, a lot of these stars. So, definitely check that out and see what's going on. So, yes. All right, so we got coming up a special interview for the DeSales Coach fans. We want to see what's going on with the program. Got a new coach. So, hey, it's about to kick off with that one. So, definitely stay tuned. And speaking of it, here we go. Let's get into it. Coach Jackson. Hey, Coach, how you doing? Can you hear me?
I'm good. I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome to the Mark and Will Show. How you doing?
I appreciate you a lot. Thank you very much.
Hey. Any chance that we get a chance to learn about a school program, hey, we open to that. And we thank you for reaching out and able to join us so people can know and understand what's going on, because this is your first year there. So I'm pretty sure you got the alumni and everybody else trying to, get to know Coach a little bit better. I'm pretty sure you've been talking to him and doing what you have to do. But, hey, why not come on the Mark and Will Show and let's talk about it?
That's right. You guys are the ones doing it for high school sports in Louisville, and I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, Coach. Right off the bat, you got head coaching experience. Can you tell everybody your other head coaching experience?
Yeah. Started off, my first head coaching job was at Oldham County in 1997. I had been the offense coordinator there for a couple of years under Jim McKee, who's now at Scott County. Got to run the offense there. He gave me a lot of responsibility right off the bat. I didn't have a whole lot of experience at that time. I had been an assistant in high school 1 year previous to that, and I'd been on the college level for 1 year. But he turned over the reins to me, and we had some pretty good years. We were 10-0 the first year in the regular season, and then 9-1 in the second year, and won a couple of district championships in a school that hadn't won a whole lot of football previous to that. So when Jim left and went to Scott County, the principal hired me, and a lot of it on the recommendation from Jim, and I'm very appreciative of that, and helping me get to where I am, or where I was at that point. We all make it somewhere because of standing on the shoulders of other people, and he was a big part of my getting to take that job, and then the eventual success we had. So I was at Oldham County for 7 years, and then opportunity opened up in Pikeville, way out in Eastern Kentucky, a tradition-rich program with a lot of state championships.
A lot of them.
A lot of them. And so that opportunity opened up. My brother was actually moving there and to take a job, and he had a couple of sons who were coming up in high school. I was going to get an opportunity to coach them. The job opened up, and I just kind of had to talk my wife into moving to Eastern Kentucky, and we had a very young child at the time, and it was a lot of upheaval, but got to be in a great place that I still love, and was there for 3 years, and that's about when my wife said it's time to go back where there's a target, and we came back to Louisville area, and just I've been very, very blessed, and God has put me in the situation to where doors have opened for me, and just an incredible amount of timing that just tells me that it wasn't just coincidence. And that was that the Ballard job opened up that same year, and applied for that, and was fortunate enough to get that job. Had beaten Ballard several times when I was at Oldham County, and that may have helped them know who I was a little bit. So we had some success at Ballard. Also made it to the semifinals of the state for the first time in 24 years. And that was, we had some really, really good times at Ballard, and of course, very tough competition. We got really close to knocking Trinity off a couple of times, but couldn't quite get over that hump, and but played them really, really tough compared to the way they'd been played, previous to that. So kind of proud of what we did at Ballard. Then my son started playing football a little bit late, and decided in his 8th grade year he wanted to play football. And, the Lord, I think, really kind of impressed on me, you've been an absentee dad for a lot of your son's life, and doing football, it takes about 90 hours a week out of your home. Mm-hmm. And that's including weekends, Saturdays, Sundays, and when things are going on. And I just didn't feel like I was in his life enough. And I stepped down after 8 years at Ballard, and just felt like it was the right thing to do. So did that. My son only played football for 2 years, ended up going on to wrestling, and did real, real well in wrestling. But that opened the door for me to go back into coaching. And after a couple of years being an assistant, 1 year being an assistant at Trinity, actually took the Seneca job. And that's a really, really tough situation, school-wise and athletics-wise. And I just was not the right fit for that place. And Keith Eckloff is there now, who had been my offensive coordinator at Ballard. He's doing a great job, and I hope that program's going to turn the corner soon. But it probably, I could tell after a short period of time that program could turn around, but it probably wasn't going to turn around before I was going to retire from teaching. So I wasn't gonna stay there and not be able to nurture it to where it needed to be.
Right.
And I felt like somebody else should get in there and spend the time, maybe 5, 6, 7 years that it was going to take. and Keith will do a great job there. It's in the process of rebuilding right now. But anyway, that opened the door at Mail, and Keith had been the offense coordinator at Mail, and so he and I just kind of switched jobs.
Okay.
And I took over as offense coordinator at Mail under Chris Wolf, and he runs a great program, and I learned so much and just sort of humbled myself and as an assistant coach. And one of the best things you can ever do in coaching is not be a head coach. After being head coach for 20 years and getting to be an assistant, and a lot of less of the stress of being a head coach and a manager, and getting to do.
Was that kind of tough though, Coach? Was that kind of tough on you though? I mean, granted, looking back, hindsight 2020. I mean, I know, like you said, less stress and things like that. But was it kind of tough when certain situations present themselves and you thinking, I would have done it? I mean, not really second guessing, but you're ex-coach. Or, you know what I'm saying? You used to be a head coach, so being an assistant. I mean, how was that though? I mean, I know you said that, hey, it's better, but was it kind of tough on you a little bit on certain decision-making stuff?
It's a good question. It's a real insightful question, and I think you understand when you've been in charge and you've been able to set the tone for everything in your program, from the off season to in season to when practice starts, when it ends, and dealing with the parents and all of the ancillary things that go along with being a head coach. I actually missed a lot of that stuff. Some of the stressful things, I really did miss it, and but of course, being there with Coach Wolf, who does a tremendous, maybe better than anybody in the state, really helped make my role as an assistant a better one. And he gave me a lot of freedom and a lot of latitude. And really, I went in to run his system. I wasn't going to impose what I've done on a program Mail. But he really gave me a lot of latitude to do the kinds of things, to be creative in some things, but it was still within the structure of his offense. And that helped me grow as a coach overall. And it was invaluable, really, to get to do 3 years of being with somebody else that really knew what they were doing. And also to have spent a year with Andrew Coverdale at Trinity. That was great also. He called me the contrarian of the staff, and I would question things a lot. But he was very, very appreciative of the role that I had there. And it was a lot different role than what I had at Mail.
Right.
But I think what I did at Trinity there prepared me for what I ended up doing at Mail. And yeah, I missed some of the leadership part, I guess. But again, at a program like Mail, Chris does a great job because he doesn't micromanage everything.
Right.
You sort of are the head coach of your area. And that was refreshing. And it allowed me to still do some of the things I'd gotten to do before as a head coach.
Okay. And you know what? And that's a great way to learn. You know what I'm saying? You could always learn. Everybody's like, well, no, I did this because you just named off, you know what I'm saying, Trinity, Mail, you've been at Ballard, successful at Ballard, you know what I'm saying, other high schools. So as this job came open, DeSales, how did this come about?
Serendipity. I just really think, again, it's like every situation that I've been in, doors have just opened. And I hope people aren't resentful of that kind of thing. I saw a coach one time. He's a younger coach, and he's really paid his dues, and he's doing a really good job. And I won't mention who he is, but I passed him at a function one time after I'd gotten the OC job at Mail, and he said, "How do you do it?" And I think there was a little disdain in his voice, sort of like, "You're really lucky." And I like to think I could have gone into the 90 hours a week that we've spent and going into programs and, re-inventorying all of the equipment, for instance, at some places and restructuring the internal facilities, for instance, the coaching staff, locker room, and all those kinds of things. It's not something you just fall into. And I think good people recognize when people have paid their dues and what looks like, there's no such thing as an overnight success. And this job opening up at DeSales just was another example of, God, thank you. But why did this happen for me? I knew I was going to, when I went to Mail, I knew I was going to stay in 3 or 4 years until I got to the retirement age. And then, do what coaches do and try to get a private school job or a job in another state. So we get a pension and a paycheck and do a little double dip. My wife was very, very gracious to be with me when she thought I was going to law school. And I said, I think I want to do high school teaching and coaching instead. So she put up with some low paychecks, and fortunately, she's a very successful person herself. But I told her, the time comes when a coach can actually make some money, but it comes in retirement. So I knew that was on the horizon, and not to be greedy about it. But at the same time, being at Male was a great situation. I could have stayed there another 2-3 years and extended that. But when DeSales opened up,
right,
it was just like, I don't think I can get in a better situation. Then I started looking around, what's the South End about? I didn't know anything about the South End. But the South End was a lot like where I grew up. I grew up in more of a small town out in Kentucky. I grew up in Corbin, which was a football crazy place.
And that's what I want. And I'm glad you said it. And I definitely want to stop you right there real quick before we get back to DeSales. I definitely want to know, how was you? I mean, like, what sport did you play when you grew up? Like, was it football, basketball? What did you do? When? How old were you when you started playing? To get everybody a chance to know about Coach Jackson. So, how did that look like growing up for you?
Really, I mean, growing up in a place like Corbin, and it's like Danville, it's like Mayfield, it's like Pikeville, one of these places that in a basketball state where high school football is the thing. Thank God. And I grew up on that, and that's where I cut my teeth, was on high school football. My brother was quarterback on a team that was number 1 in the state Lichtenhouse rating as a 2A school. Wow. And we just thought they were like college players, they were like the NFL to us. Mm-hmm. So I was a little guy, and I was in the, 4th, 5th grade when he was a senior in high school and doing great things. And just stars in your eyes going to watch those games and be like, wow, I wonder if I could do that one day.
Right.
And so you just get involved in every sport. And that's one thing I've bemoaned, kids and some parents today that are pushing their kids towards specialization in the 3rd, 4th grade and wearing their arms out and their ligaments and tendons and overuse injury. We didn't have any problem with that growing up when I grew up and you grew up. We went from basketball to football or basketball to track or baseball into football. I played tennis. I happened to play tennis a lot growing up. I got into tennis when I was younger. And so I got away from baseball, but I played pretty much everything. And I was the king of the average athlete in my small town. I was able to be good enough to make every team. And just barely good enough to start. But I had to know what my weaknesses and strengths were. And at Corbin, we were great at running the football. We had great offensive linemen, and we had great running backs. We didn't throw the ball a whole lot, so the quarterback wasn't asked to do a whole lot. But I had to hand off and get the snap, not fumble, and run out fakes. And I figured out I could do that. I could be a quarterback on a high school football team. And so that's kind of what I did. And I used to play guard on the basketball team. I sat on the last seat and I guarded the water cooler because there were kids that would come down and try to get extra water because ours was cold. And the stuff in the concession stand wasn't. So I played guard on the basketball team. And in tennis, I played doubles. I tried to play triples, but, I needed 2 other teammates really to be any good. But doubles was the best I could do. And luckily I had a really good partner, so he bailed me out a lot. But I tried to play everything. Then I went on to college and played at center, and I was able to actually play 3 sports at center also, ran track and played tennis for a year and lettered for 4 years in football there. So that's a little bit of my very average athletic.
Hey, that's good. Hey, I love that. I mean, and that's very important to know that. People think, you don't know what I'm talking about, Coach. You ain't did what I did. All that kind of stuff, and not knowing the background and everything else. And like you said, you hit on the head. It wasn't no specialty. We was out playing everything, and that's just how it is. Things change now, and I hope that these kiddos do get back. I know we getting through, hopefully, a pandemic that is still there, but, let's go ahead and enjoy outside and get out and play. So let's get to the sales. Like, okay,
yes,
so being a head coach and everything, let me ask you this. What kind of offense do you run or will you run?
Yeah, it's a great question because at this point in my career, I have gone from the wing T, just the old school, wing T under Tom Duffy at Henderson County. And it was basically 2 or 3 formations and about 4 or 5 plays, and you get real good at it. and
Right.
a lot of misdirection. You don't have to have the biggest, fastest lineman, and
Right.
but you can have some good athletic linemen and get away with it. But I did that at Oldham County, and when McKee left for Scott County, I expanded the offense a little bit. We had a couple of really good basketball kids play football,
Okay.
and Dante Smith, who a lot of people around here might know, and had signed with U of L
Yeah.
and famously backed out of that. About the same time, I think Sebastian Telfair did, and he's not very high on Rick Pitino's list when Dante decided to jump to the NBA instead of coming to U of L from junior
Right.
college. But
Right.
Dante played receiver for me, and we changed our offense a little bit to be able to get him the ball some. So I went to West Virginia and studied a little bit under Rich Rodriguez and learned some stuff about the no huddle offense and the spread. We tried to keep our running game real similar, but we went tempo, we went no huddle. So I incorporated that into what we did. Then I went at Pikeville. We kind of did a little bit of everything, but we became more of an option football team. I'll be real honest with you. One of the most satisfying things in my career was we played in a district at Oldham County against Highlands and Covington Catholic, two powerhouse. And we were really the third best team. Nobody gave us any chance. But we had worked all year before our district games on the single wing, just the old school direct snap to the back.
Right.
And we had a kid that was about 380 pounds and squatted over 700 pounds. And we put him in the backfield, and CovCap hadn't seen us do it all year. We'd hidden it. And we won that game. And so we even dabbled in the single wing, which is 1920s offense, New Rockney stuff. So I ended up doing that a little bit at Pikeville, but at Pikeville, mainly the wishbone kind of Maryland eye kind of stuff with a lot of option and midline option kind of stuff. Then when I went to Ballard, the kind of kids we had were kids that I think had come to Ballard for basketball, maybe played as freshmen, but they weren't going to make the team as sophomore, junior, senior because Ballard was so stacked in basketball. We got those kids and we put them to use. And I said, we're going to run a spread offense. I hired some people that knew what they were doing on offense, turned it over to them. Keith Eckloff, like I mentioned, did a great job with our offense. So that expanded my knowledge base. Of course, going to Trinity when my son decided he was going to play there. Got to be with Andrew Coverdale, learned a lot there. And then, of course, the last 3 years at Mail under Chris and getting just a different perspective on running an RPO-based spread system. And Chris Wolf and Andrew Coverdale, two of the best coaches I've ever been around, but very, very different in their approach and very similar kind of styles if you look at them from the stands, but really, really different ways of going at it. And you talk about an education for a coach. It was a great situation to be on the inside of both of those. So now you may wonder, what are we doing at DeSales with all of those different varied offense? We're going to run the wing T. we're going right back to old school, just misdirection. But we're going to be able to incorporate some of the spread concepts that especially from Trinity and from Mail that I was able to see. And we can simplify things and not make it a complicated spread offense. Maybe that's the best thing that I think Chris did. And was to take something that looks very complicated and simplify it. And we're going to be able to do some of that, but we're going to base everything out of that old school misdirection wing T with quick, fast little guards. And we don't have 6'8" numbers and we don't have 6'8" size. So we're gonna do a little smoke and mirrors.
Okay.
And I'm kind of looking forward to getting back to it.
And you know what? And I'm glad as you took us through the history of your different styles and stuff like that. So basically, say you get some freshmen in there and everything else, and and they maybe a little bit more athletic than you had. You're not opposed to changing a little bit. It's like whatever you have is what you're gonna adapt to, pretty much.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. And I like that you put it that way, and it sort of takes me to really what I should have mentioned on my own is that what I like about the wing T is that it is flexible. And you can adapt it to the different kinds of players that you have. Like I said, the year we had Dante Smith, we threw for 1,800 yards, I think, that year.
Right.
But still ran basically the wing T offense. But you can center your offense around a wide receiver if you need to. Right. And if you get good enough at the run game, defenses have to worry about the box a lot more. You get a lot of one-on-ones out there with the big, tall receiver. So if I have a better fullback, there's a way to run the wing T the way Scott County does it, which is centered more around the fullback belly. Then if you've got I think we're going to have at DeSales a couple of really good speed wing backs.
Okay.
You can do what Hershey Moore did down at Cumberland University in Tennessee, who I studied off of, and do a lot of jet sweep, and then everything off the jet sweep. And so it sort of, if you got a good quarterback who can run, now you're like Clark County was when they knocked off Trinity and everybody else back in '96, and was able to knock off everybody because they had 4 track stars in the backfield. Now, I don't know if we're going to have 4 track stars, but if I've got a quarterback that's an above average runner, we can be a different style of wing T than what I'm really ever used to running.
Right.
So yeah, it is adaptive to a lot of different and I can fit the offense around the kids rather than try to make the kids fit a specific offense.
So if I'm a returning player, and I used to play defense at Mayo, so I'm like, what kind of defense we running, Coach? I mean, it's good you offensive guru and stuff like that, but what kind of defense are we going to run?
That's a great question, and it's sort of something real similar. At first, I need to mention the people that have helped me in my situation being at DeSales and our assistant coaching staff, and we're still trying to build staff. And anybody's out there, good DB coach, you want to be a part of building something great, small school, I need a DB coach. But other than that, we've got some incredible men, and I mean men, valuable, values-centered men working with our kids. And the number one guy I want to mention is John Halleck. You may not recognize the name, but John Halleck became famous a couple of years ago during COVID times when Shawnee was having a hard time getting games and there were teams backing out on them during COVID. And Coach Halleck brought his team from Jackson County.
Oh, no.
That's the guy right there.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
He is a dude, man, and he is doing a bang-up job with our defense. So we've been talking a little bit for several months about doing this. He emerged as the best candidate to run our defense. Okay. He's a chaplain for the U.S. prison system. He's a helper kind of man. He's a Lutheran minister. He's got his own church here in Louisville, and just an incredible person that's got a love in his heart for kids and helping kids. Just a totally humble, great servant type person, but he will be running our defense. We sort of independently came up with, after looking at our personnel, what's coming back, where our strengths and weaknesses are. We both sort of kind of came up together that maybe a more of a 3-3 approach would work best for us. So we'll probably run more of an odd front, but have more linebackers in the box behind them. We're not the biggest team, so it's going to be important. We may not have enough to run 4 down linemen, but I think we can have 3 good, dependable linemen who are true defensive line kids, but then have a set of linebackers behind them that can be that 4th man to bring pressure and to fill gaps. But we do have some real good kids that can run, and they're tough, physical, the old CSAA kind of kid. Right. And we've got a good number of those. But John Halleck runs our defense. James Atkinson, who's an alum of DeSales and is coached at several of the CSA, or is coached in the CSAA. He's going to work with our D-line. He's helped me all winter in the weight program, reestablishing a culture of work in the offseason and player development. Mark Green, who's been at Trinity, on the staff at Trinity, will come over and coach our wide receivers. He played with me at center, and he's a former player here at at Moore High School.
Okay.
And Matt Corbett, who carries over from the previous staff. Most of the coaches that were at Bellarmine or that were at DeSales before are now on the Bellarmine staff.
Right.
Basically shifted over to Bellarmine on Newburgh Road, and Matt decided to stick around and coach on the high school level. His job makes it a little more amenable for him to coach on the high school level. So thank God we're able to keep Matt Corbett. He's doing a great job. But that on defense, we're gonna try to fly to the football. All the same cliches every defense coach is going to say. Right, we're gonna get 11 hats around the ball by the time the whistle blows. We're going. But scheme wise, if you want to get into the X's and O's, we'll be more of a 3-man front and be able to convert from a 3-4 to a 3-3.
Okay, you hit something before I drug you back into your youth. You was about to hit something that I'm pretty sure that the alumni probably would like to hear. You was talking about how you didn't know too much about the South End. So basically, How are you getting educated about the South End?
It just feels like a community. And I know there are different parts of Louisville that have community,
Right.
and I get that, but it just really feels like we are the South End. And there's just kind of a pride there in being part of that area of town, and hoops, and just all of the culture stuff down there.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminds me a lot of being in a small town, to be honest. You're in Louisville, but you
Right.
feel like you're sort of in a small town kind of feel. And the alumni base, you mentioned the alumni. I mean, everywhere I go, somebody will say, "What do you do?" I said, "Well, I'm the new head coach at DeSales." "Oh, my cousin's niece went to these, or not niece, my nephew went to DeSales and just graduated." I mean, it seems like everybody's got a connection with that place, and they love it. And people that have graduated from there 40 years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, and just the last couple of years, just have a real connection with what the spirit of that place is. And that, again, spoke to me like a small town person would about their high school. And I know in Louisville, we all connect with, where'd you go to school?
Right.
Where'd you go to high school?
That's how it is.
And that's true of any place in Louisville, but at DeSales, it just seems a little bit more, I don't know, it's a little tighter brotherhood, I think, than a lot of the other communities in Louisville. And that just really spoke to me. That, and the fact that it's a diverse community. It's not just, an all Catholic place that's, everybody looks the same. It's got diversity. It's got the reason I want to live in Louisville. And, it helps us to branch out and be around all different kinds of people, but to have a faith-centered mission, that speaks to me as well.
Right. And and that's good, because it's good to get in the community and learn it, instead of like whatever, that kind of stuff. And DeSales, definitely, that has, people don't realize the history of DeSales. Being that I'm Louisville, I'm 48 years old. My senior year, DeSales knocked us out of the playoffs at Cardinal Stadium. I still have nightmares about that.
I bet.
Tank and Woody and all that stuff like that. But that's when everybody was playing everybody, and DeSales was a juggernaut then. So I'm glad that they reached out to you and got you in there. Someone who knows what he's doing. I'm not saying the other dude didn't. I mean, he went to. You see, you wasn't gonna go to Bellarmine if you didn't know what you were doing. But
that's right. Daryl Davis did a great job. Yeah.
Right. Time to go ahead and get the powers to be back to the powers to be, pretty much across the board. Let me ask you this: as far as getting the kiddos in there, what's the feeder school to that? I mean, what's for the people who don't know, how does it look like getting the youngsters to get to the DeSales?
It's it's a challenge. There's not really a true feeder school. I mean, we get our kids from Bernard, we get our kids from Gabriel, we get kids from the public schools. There have been several kids from public schools, and I know it's very controversial now. Dr. Polio's message today about one of the private schools in town, maybe allegedly stepping over some lines. I will tell you this: we're not going to step over lines.
Right.
People ask me, are you going to get a bunch of kids come over from Male? Well, I mean, if they want to come, that's fine, but I'm not approaching kids. Right. I know what the KHSA rules are after doing this for 30 years, and we're not going to step over those lines. Right. But at the same time, we are a private school. For our school to exist, we have to recruit kids into our school as students.
Right.
So we're going to hit the CSAA programs hard, and we are going to say we are the CSAA based school. And we want to be, a school that welcomes in public school kids if this is the best situation for them. And for some kids, a faith-based situation that's smaller than a 2,000 student school, it's a better fit for them. And we want to provide an alternative to, a mega high school. Right. that's very large. And maybe opportunities to get on the field a lot sooner. That's what we're trying to pitch to kids, both in CSAA and in the public schools.
Right.
that this is a place, especially the next couple of years, you're going to have some opportunities to get on the field, maybe sooner than you want. But if you really think you're good enough to play on Friday night, you're going to get to maybe as a sophomore. And if you're special, and we've got a couple of kids this year that are special, you're going to get to play some as a freshman.
Right.
And welcome to Friday night. And it's not always what it looks like on the movies, but it's a pretty exciting thing to get to play when you're young, and then maybe get to say to colleges. I played for 4 years, all 4 years in high school. I played varsity football. Can't say that in a lot of programs in Louisville.
Right.
And so that's what we're trying to sell. And we are going to be the player development school. So I'm nothing against people who do personal training, and they do great work with kids, but I know it costs a lot of money.
Right.
I'm at DeSales 7 days a week, and I'm there Saturday and Sunday, and our weight room is open. We use our turf. We use our strength facility. We use our speed work. We basically provide personal training for our kids 7 days a week, all year long.
Wow.
And that is what we want to be for kids from third grade all the way up through high school.
Wow.
And we're going to open our facility up and train kids, very, very young kids. We started our training program this spring. We've got camp coming up the first week of June in the mornings, Monday through Thursday, on June 6th through the 9th. And we want, kids from third to eighth grade coming to that camp and see how we will work with you and develop you. Speed, agility, athleticism, explosiveness. We're going to try to develop whole athletes. And not just football players either. We want to work with basketball, volleyball kids, anybody that wants to get better athletically. We think we've got a good program that works and free of charge.
Right.
So kids come and work out with us. They're not having to pay those trainer fees. So we want to be that for not just for the Catholic schools, but for all the schools in the Louisville area. If you want some good personal training, come on in and we'll work you right in. But Gabriel, Bernard, Notre Dame, those are some of the schools that we get most of our kids from. And, there's a long list. We get kids from 52 different zip codes that are willing to travel into DeSales.
Right.
And we have a bus service that will go out and pick kids up from farther areas, but, we're wide open.
I got real quick, Coach. I always throw my male sense in, no matter what. It's this nature I have. You're able to connect to these new kids, your new team, and actually tell them, you was coaching, a plethora of athletes, Vinny Anthony and all these other, what I'm saying? These kids are still, they know where you left. And that knowledge and that that expertise of seeing them work hard and go through it, you would hope that somebody be a sponge, but how do you utilize that? Like, even, like you said, Dante Smith was a monster, how do you utilize that into, relating to these kiddos?
That's a great question again. And kids don't care what you know until they know you care. That's an old cliche, but I have to be very careful not to try to play that card too much. Mm-hmm. These kids are the kids they are.
Right.
And, you see it on Twitter. A lot of kids are wrapped up in, I'm going to be D1. I'm going to be D1. And 0.1% kids get a full scholarship to football and that play. And I'm very realistic with my kids. I don't want to crush their dreams, but at the same time, I'm not going to put them on a pedestal and compare them with Isaiah Cummings.
Right.
Isaiah Cummings is Isaiah Cummings.
Right.
And what I will tell them is the best players that I ever coached athletically, from Max Gainey, Vinny Anthony, Dominic Vermanzik, on and on and on.
Right.
Isaiah Cummings, Devontae Parker at Ballard. They were also the hardest workers on the team. They were the ones we had to kick out of the weight room. Right. They were the ones doing extra sprints. Devontae Parker never lost a sprint during our conditioning drills at Ballard.
Wow.
It didn't matter. He was going to be in great shape.
Right.
There's a reason he never lost a sprint. He had the fire not to ever lose at anything. And today's New England Patriot. So those are the things I tell our kids.
Yes.
Is that you may not be 6'3" and run a 4.5 like Vontae, but there's no limit to the amount of work ethic that you can have. And if you can match what he has on that, you can reach your ceiling. We talk a lot about ceilings and floors, and that Devontae's ceiling was way up here. But he did everything he could to get to his ceiling.
Right.
Now, my ceiling as an athlete was down here, but I like to feel like playing in college and getting to do some things I did as an athlete, as an average athlete. I think I hit my ceiling.
Right.
But that's what we're trying to get our kids to realize. Isaiah Cummings, I love watching what he's doing at UK,
Right.
being willing and humble enough to say, I'll play tight end. And look what happened.
Right.
God just opened a door for him. He busted through it and made the most of that opportunity instead of sulking about, well, I want to be a wide receiver and I didn't get what I want. Just great attitude. Vontae, great attitude. Dantes Bird, who played for me at Ballard and is now playing XFL and Canadian, still trains kids on the side. And, all of these guys, that's what I bring up to my kids. And in 30 years of coaching, haven't always had, I've had kids that have excelled at the next level and the next level, but they all seem to have the same thing in common. They had genetics and talent, but they did the most they could with it by working.
Exactly.
And that's what to me it's about, no matter what level you are.
You're right. Coach, I'm going to get you out on this. We always tell people, give everybody a chance to thank everybody who's played important roles in their life. So the floor is yours.
I thank you so much for doing that, because I have been guilty of going to a clinic, going to something where I'm speaking publicly. I have my notes ready and I'm a little nervous, or I'm flying through it trying to get done in time. And I get finished like, I did not mention my wife.
You're not the first one.
And of all the people,
right.
I need to thank my wife and my son for being willing to be a head football coach's family, because there's so many hours we're just not there. And she's having to do the work of raising, and he's having to, sometimes not have dad around at every single little thing that he does. And I've tried my best. If there was a trumpet recital or there was a wrestling match, I'm going to be at every one, but it's tough. And so those are the people I need to thank the most, along with everybody who ever was an assistant coach on my staff, just making me look good. And I can go back and tell you that the teams that I've had, I've averaged about 8 wins a season and been fortunate to do that, and some at programs that weren't great before we got there. But I went back and I looked at the best records we ever had, and it just so happens they were the years that I had the best defensive coordinators, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just funny how that works out, that it's maybe not about me. Maybe it's that I do a real good job hiring good people.
Right.
And it's really more about that. But I think if I have to thank anybody, it's mainly my wife for putting up with what all this has to do with, and my son. So,
hey, Coach, I want to thank you for joining me tonight. I'm so glad. I mean, I get tickled just to interview people, just because I love to hear their stories. I love to hear, and I definitely love what you bring to the table for DeSales. I know DeSales is right there. You're on track. You definitely will take care of business, and I want to thank you for joining me tonight.
I'm not going to finish before I thank the administration at DeSales for hiring me. I better do that. But Dr. Quirk and Dr. Blackwell and the people at DeSales have been great, and Mr. Bowers, the AD, have just they've said, you know what it takes to run a good program, and they've let me do what I needed to do, and I think we're going to get there. It's not going to be overnight, but we're going to get there. And again, thank you for what you all do for a platform for high school football. It used to be there was one website. Everybody would have to go to that one website and look at stuff. You probably know what I'm talking about. But now it's great. We got guys like you doing podcasts and able to expand and let people get to know, the real people behind high school sports. And thanks for what you do. I don't know how y'all do it.
Hey, thank you. But
the paycheck must be good.
Hey, Coach, I'm going to tell you what, though. I'm definitely going to come out and check you guys out and see what you're about. And I know it's about winning, so I'm definitely going to be there on the scene and check you guys out.
You got a sideline pass anytime you want it.
Hey, thank you, Coach. Hey, good luck, and you'll definitely be back on. So go Colts.
Appreciate the Mark and Will Show. Thank you.
All right. Right there. Coach right there. Coach, hey, I'm going to tell you what. They got a good one. They got a good one. Hey, thank you, Coach Jackson, for coming on here. Thanks, everybody who's been watching. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like button. We're going to get more coaches on here, more players, different sports, and all this kind of stuff because it's very important that everybody get to know the different schools, the different programs, girls, boys, all that kind of stuff. So, hey, thank you guys for watching tonight. Y'all know how we do. Nothing but what? Another banger. Peace out, guys. God bless.
It's 8 p.m. Crease. Let's get it. Mark and Will, yeah, yeah. Mark and Will, yeah, yeah.
It's the Mark and Will Show. It's the Mark and Will Show. Monday through Friday, player. Watch it while you on the go. It's the Mark and Will Show. It's the Mark and Will Show. Catch them at 8 p.m. They gon' tell you what they know. It's the Mark and Will Show. It's the Mark and Will Show. Monday through Friday, player. Watch it while you on the go. It's the Mark and Will Show. It's the Mark and Will Show. Catch them at 8 p.m. They gon' tell you what they know.